This news update is brought to you by
Grab somebody and tell them hello. Your happiness will be connected to flow. Smile and cheer because that is we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow, yeah. Grab somebody and tell them this is how we flow.
It's Wednesday, October the 14th, 2015, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. We begin with news that the Walcott family of St. Michael is this morning still trying to come to grips with the tragic loss of one of their own in an apparent freak accident. Dead is 56-year-old Anthony Walcott of the Belle St. Michael. Walcott, also known as Bird, died on the spot yesterday when the tractor he was operating plunged 100 feet to the bottom of Carrington Quarry St. Philip around 1:30 p.m. It's understood that the employee of Caribbean Aggregates Limited for over 20 years was working at the top of a cliff when a massive piece of rock broke away, causing the heavy-duty vehicle to bounce once before creating a plume of dust when it hit the bottom. Walcott's left leg was severed in the process. Grieving relatives who gathered at the scene confirmed that this was not the first time tragedy struck the family circle. The deceased 34-year-old's daughter, Jessica Best, told Barbados Today that her father's mother and sister died suddenly 6 years ago, 2 weeks apart. And on October the 18th, 1989, Walcott's stepfather, Livingston Watson, who raised him, died in the Zedar van known as the Midnight Assassin, which was involved in one of the most horrific vehicular accidents in Barbadian history. In other news now, the Barbados Union of Teachers has offered the Freundel Stuart Administration an olive branch, saying it was time to end the antagonistic relationship between the union and the government. The union and the Ministry of Education had a stormy relationship last school year, with both sides embroiled in a war of words over issues ranging from the appointment of temporary teachers to working conditions at some schools. The summer holidays did little to ease the tension, as the BUT threatened to disrupt the start of the new school year last month over the fate of the over 400 teachers, only withdrawing the threat after the Minister of Education, Ronald Jones, promised that the teachers would be appointed by the end of September. Now, this situation remains fluid even after reassurances from Jones at the beginning of this month that letters would soon be on the way. BUT President Pedro Shepherd told a news conference at the union's Welch's St. Michael headquarters yesterday that some appointments have been confirmed. However, he said he was hoping for a resolution to all outstanding issues by the end of the year and was looking forward to the two sides embracing each other warmly.
I'm hoping that we can go forward differently this year. So far I am not seeing it, but I'm hoping that something can happen and that the relationship between the Barbados Union of Teachers and the Ministry of Education would improve over the next few months. This is Education Month, and I believe that this is the perfect time for us to extend our arms to each other. And because the general objectives are basically the same, there's no need for us to be having this antagonistic sort of relationship. And I would hope that the BUT and the ministry would come together at the level of maybe the minister or the PS and sit down and look at the issues that are affecting education and see how best we can take education forward over the next year and into the future.
On the issue of an apparent rise in violence in schools, Shepherd gave the assurance that there's no need to worry at this stage. He attributes much of it to greater access to the social media.
The level of information that's available to our students now is greater than before, and students are curious, so I guess when you see certain actions being portrayed by students, it may be simply out of a case of just curiosity, and not necessarily that the students are indeed bad students, but just curious students trying things that they see other people, adults, try.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Welcome back with news from the region now. The St. Lucia government has pledged to fight against an increase in the cost of broadband services recently announced by telecommunications company Flow. Minister of Telecommunications Dr. James Fletcher says he is very concerned about Flow's statement of intent to raise prices, describing the move as a backward step.
Flow's price hike announcement came via text and for some by email and left customers livid. According to Dr. James Fletcher, all over the world, people are increasing access to broadband services. He's concerned that Flow is moving in the opposite direction with this move.
My position on this, I've always said that broadband really is the most important thing for us. It is what will encourage commerce, what will allow people to get more educated, improve networks. So this decision by Flow, I think, is a very backward one. It's certainly not one that the government of St. Lucia supports.
Dr. Fletcher says he intends to take up the issue at this week's ECTEL Council of Ministers meeting. He says the price hike also goes against guarantees made by Lime CEO Phil Bentley to telecoms ministers.
He gave us his assurance that the merger of Lime and Flow would not result in any increase in rates, and that he sought to allay our fears that this would create a monopoly and that the consumers would be the ones to be left holding the short end of the stick. And what Flow has done now is confirming our worst fears. So I'm extremely unhappy with the decision by Flow. And after I've met with my fellow Council of Ministers, I will be returning to St. Lucia and probably issuing another statement, writing officially to Flow, but also seeing what means we have as a government, both legally and morally, to encourage Flow to reverse what I believe is an extremely backward, extremely retrogressive decision.
In more regional news, the controversial contract of the former acting registrar of the Supreme Court in Guyana expired last Saturday, and by Monday morning, chaos broke out at the registry. HBTV's Erica Williams reports.
Workers who turned up for work at the Supreme Court Registry on Monday had no one to report to and no way of efficiently getting their jobs done. Since learning of the matter last Friday, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams visited the registry on Monday.
You don't have a registrar. Mr. Mohammed's contract having just expired a day or so ago. And there's no deputy registrar and there's no assistant registrar for the Supreme Court Registry. And our government, our new government, must be concerned about the situation. We are not in charge of the day-to-day running of the Supreme Court Registry, but as the government responsible for the administration of justice and the delivery of justice to our people, it must be of importance to us that the system of administration runs smoothly.
Further, the appointment of a registrar, deputy registrar, and assistant is the job of the Judicial Service Commission, according to the Constitution.
We don't know what was happening with the appointments of the registrar and deputy registrar and assistant registrar. So this is how this country must function. When the contract expires, everything becomes headless.
On the international scene, a survivor has been found in a lake 2 days after a helicopter crashed in Indonesia. The 22-year-old was found naked and weak in the volcanic lake Toba in western Sumatra Island by rescuers. He was reportedly clinging to floating plants in a lake. The search is continuing for 4 others on board. The single-engine light aerocopter EC-130 crashed during an hour-long flight from Sumatra Island to Medan City. The helicopter lost contact at 12:20 local time on Sunday. Search and Rescue Agency official Hiramunas Guru said that the crash survivor had told rescuers all 5 people on board managed to jump from the helicopter as it went down. And finally, Twitter is cutting 336 jobs, roughly 8% of the global workforce, as part of a restructuring of the business. The job cuts will cost between $10 million and $20 million in severance pay, while the restructuring will cost between $5 million and $15 million. Shares in Twitter rose 2% in pre-market trading following the announcement. The move comes just days after co-founder Jack Dorsey was confirmed as Twitter's permanent chief executive. And that's where we end our Barbados Today morning news update. However, you can join us again this afternoon. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper email updates or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into channel 101 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.